Galaxy AI is stacked. Looking through the menu might be very daunting, but today I'm going to show you what each and every one of those things does so you know how to use it better. Let's go. Samsung is no doubt offering the most comprehensive AI set of features on any smartphone you can get today. Not just comprehensive in terms of how wide breadth they are, but also functional with how they actually work and practical solutions to how you use your phone and interact with things on the day. With Apple pretty much delaying their full release of AI until next year, it's a good time to go and show you everything that Galaxy AI can do. So let's dive into the menu and go through each item one by one, starting with Call Assist. If we look at the settings here for Call Assist, you can see the sort of depth of stuff that you can change. You've got the options to change settings for you as the main caller and then the person you're speaking to as well. You can go in here and change the voice style. You can change how fast the speech translates to. You've got the language that you're translating from and the language you want to translate to with the other person as well. What's really neat too is you can preset a language for each individual contact. So if you know someone only speaks Italian, go in and change their language to Italian. So whenever they call, it'll change it to Italian, say Italian more. There's also a little toggle here to mute the original voice. So rather than having to hear both voices, you'll just hear one. And it doesn't just work in the phone dialer either. It works in other apps such as WhatsApp. So you can toggle it on when you swipe down from the notifications, and there's a little toggle to activate Live Translate. Now let's show you how it actually works with a real phone call to myself. Okay, so I've gone in the other room to talk to myself on the phone.
Ok, sono andato nell'altra stanza. Parlate con me stesso al telefono. Ok.
The other phone is then picking up what I'm hearing, and then it's being translated into Italian at the other end. Are you coming over for dinner later?
Vieni a cena più tardi?
And if I could speak Italian, I would go back to the other phone and talk to myself back, and then it would work. But I'm speaking one way, but you can see the idea. Next one in here is Writing Assist. Writing Assist has two different facets to it. It works both in Samsung Keyboard and in pretty much any text box that you can sort of type text into. Starting with the keyboard functions, when you launch the keyboard in an app, let's go with Messages because this is where the full functionality is on show. You'll see the little sort of Galaxy AI icon in the toolbar. You've got chat translation. So if you're typing with someone that you know speaks another language, it will automatically translate to the language that you've determined and then translate back when you receive the message back from them. You've got grammar and spelling suggestions. So if you have typed something out and you want to sort of check the grammar and spelling, again, this is a really good place to do it. And then you can fix it up from here. You can change the writing style. So if you've wrote something out and you want to maybe make it sound more casual, select it, select writing style, and select the writing style that you feel is appropriate. And there's a whole list of ones in there, and then it replaces it for you should you wish to do that. You can also compose messages through the composer. So you write what you want it to write, choose a style, and then select generate, and it'll generate sort of something for you to put into the text box, or you can generate it again should it not be appropriate. That's in the keyboard. If you go into another text box, like maybe a social media app, when you enter into that text box, if you long press on the text space, you can see the Galaxy AI key again. Here you get some more options, as well as those other ones that I've already sort of demonstrated. They function the same, except for Composer. The way Composer works here is it'll recognize you're in a social media app and automatically change it into social media, and then gives you an option for My Style as well, where I think it'll sort of learn from you as you've been typing into apps like social media and then configure it for that post that you're asked it to make. Clever. What I like with this option here is you've got options to create message summaries where you can select the text maybe in a web browser, just a section of it, and hit summarize, and then it'll summarize the text for you. Or what I really like is the option to create like a chart where it actually will take data points, make headings and sort of columns and put the data in and make a table for you. And then you can take that table and copy it and paste it into other apps like Samsung Notes, and you've got a good data set for you to be able to put somewhere else. Love that, because if you just want to take a big body of text you've created and create a table and organize it better, that's a really fun way to do it. And this works in any app. So any app where there's a text field, you can do that, whether it be your own text that you've typed or whether it be text in another app like the internet browser, you can use it. Next, we've got the interpreter. The interpreter is like a live translation feature for in person as opposed to a phone call. So if you are out somewhere like overseas and you're chatting with someone, conversing with them, you can use this. Like with Call Assist, you've got the option for language packs and you've got the option for voice styles depending on the language that you've selected. But what I really like here is the interface, because when you're talking with someone across from them, you can change and flip the card over so they can read from their side and you can read from yours. There's also a toggle in the settings for tap to talk, where if you want to start talking, instead of it being like this microphone's on and then that microphone's on and this microphone's on and then that microphone, you get the point. It'll just shut it off and then they tap when they're ready to start talking again. There's another facet to Interpreter that is listening mode. So rather than just talking to someone, if you're listening to like a tour guide or if you're listening to a conversation from someone, turn on listening mode and it'll just translate live what they're saying to you or what they're saying out loud. You can also make this be auto recorded and then you can transcribe it later as well once it's captured the recording. You can see that in the settings. Next is Note Assist. This is, should go without any sort of surprise, Samsung Notes related. So once you've got sort of something typed up in Samsung Notes, whether it be a script, whether it be sort of a meeting notes, you've got plenty of options here to use AI. First one is auto format. I love the auto format toggle because when you select it, you've got the option for headers and bullet points or meeting notes. Either one will sort of reformat your body of text to sort of be more cohesive and be more visually appealing. I love the headers and bullets because it can basically take like a script or something you've created that's just sort of plain and make it into a really nice visually aesthetic sort of document that you can then share out. When you sort of select your text, you've got the option to select the maximum amount of text. It can now go all the way to the end of the document and then creates the sort of formatting for you that you can sort of swipe through and either add to the note you've got or add it to a new note so you don't disturb the original. You've also got Summarize. Summarize, the way that works is like we sort of showed you before. It'll create a summary with sort of dot points of what the document is about. Again, you've got the option here to create a short or standard rather, and then a detailed, which expands it out even more. Same sort of thing, you can add it to the note you've got or add it to a new one. You've got Translate, which pretty much does as advertised. It will translate it to the language you desire, but it's great because you can then save it as a document and send it to someone if you know that that's the language they speak. You've got spelling and grammar too, so it'll scan the entire document and sort of look for spelling and grammar mistakes, and then you just replace it on the spot, which is nice. Then you've got the added voice recordings and transcriptions. Basically, the way that this works is the same as the voice recorder, which I'm going to show you in a moment, where you can record meeting notes in Samsung Notes and it'll transcribe and then also summarize for you what was captured in the meeting. Take a look. And that kind of brings us to Transcript Assist. So Transcript Assist is exactly as what I just showed you, but in the voice recorder. So you go in here, you record your meeting or discussion, whatever it is you want. It can separate by speaker. So if there's multiple speakers, it sort of identifies their voice and creates a multiple sort of speaker list and then transcribes it. Then you've got the summaries part where it can actually take that transcription and summarize it for you. If you are in charge of taking meeting minutes, that could be a really great way of taking what was sort of said and then condensing it down into a summary, which you can look over and then send out should you wish to. Next on the list is Browsing Assist. Browsing Assist has become really handy with Samsung's internet browser because there's now 3 facets to it. You've got Summarize, which if you're reading a really long article, you can go in and hit Summarize and it'll condense that article down to a few key points. And like we sort of showed you with Samsung Notes, you've got Standard and you've got Detailed. And that way you get sort of a breakdown of that article that you can read without maybe having to read the whole thing. It can also translate web pages. So if you're overseas and you get like a Trenitalia website, which happened to me last year when we went to Italy, you can translate it. And the great thing is, this is a BBC Sport example, but any sort of embedded videos or any sort of embedded advertisements get translated as well. So the whole document, and it's not just some overlay, it literally keeps the formatting of the article and translates the pages with the same font. Then you've got read highlights aloud. So this could be really good if you maybe don't have time to read it and you just want to listen to the highlights. it'll do a similar thing where it'll take the summary and sort of create that summary, but then read it to you. Also a nice option.
BBC Sport. The Far Cup semi-finals are set, featuring a mix of... The Far Cup semi-finals are set.
It's great to be able to have that option to summarize sort of web pages, but what if you wanted to summarize your online presence? Or if you're looking to hire someone and wanted to know their online presence so you can go into interviews prepared? Well, this is where WhiteBridge.AI comes in to play. Just like you can use Galaxy AI in your personal life, WhiteBridge.AI can help you in your professional life. WhiteBridge.AI works to help both you and your business, should you have one, to verify and analyze public digital footprints. Let's just say you've conducted an interview and you want to hire someone, but you need to know their public persona a little bit more carefully. Using WhiteBridge.AI, you can quickly gather public digital footprints, and WhiteBridge will reliably gather relevant information, whether it be negative or otherwise, to give you a more complete picture. This is important. The right culture fit for your business is an important part of team morale, and things can be hidden from interviews quite easily. I've got a report here on myself, and it's so accurate with the information that it's found and the summation of what my interests are, and it can be really useful to someone who's maybe wanting to hire me for a position. Some of the things that I picked out, it tells you an interaction guideline. So it says, discuss Samsung innovations. Cool. That's 100% something that someone should do when they're talking to me. Or you've got mentioned family and travel. Again, I love my family and we love to go traveling. Other things too, talking football, obviously. Then it's got things to avoid. And again, they're spot on. Avoid Apple comparisons. Refrain from comparing Samsung to Apple negatively. Good. Avoid overly technical jargon. I think that's just because in my videos, I like to really put across simple, understandable tech conversations as opposed to overly technical sort of speak. Don't criticize Samsung and avoid ignoring sports. Love that. I think all of this sort of stuff is a really good example of showcasing how powerful something like this can be, especially in a professional environment and wanting to find out if someone fits your business and culture or whether they don't. There is way more to WhiteBridge too. You can use it as a sales tool, cybersecurity, or even report generation. AI is seamlessly integrating into our personal life, and something like WhiteBridge can be an integral tool for your professional life as well. Don't wait. Use the link in the description and check everything about your online persona using WhiteBridge.AI. Plus, using my code TWB25, you'll get a 25% discount off your next purchase. Thank you to WhiteBridge for sponsoring this video. Next, we have Photo Assist. We're getting into the creative elements as opposed to the productivity. There's 3 elements here. There's Generative Edit, there's Sketch to Image, and there's Portrait Studio. Generative Edit has become really easy to use. Samsung have added all sorts of toggles and sort of things in here to really enable this to be as easy as possible. If you've got people in the background of your photo, it'll recognize that and give you a toggle to automatically select them. Then you just have to hit the eraser icon and then hit generate and they're gone. Further to that too, you can actually, if the photo is a bit crooked, have a sliding scale to sort of move it across and generate the blank parts of the image and fill them in. As you can see from this example that I've sort of showed, it works so well. The background is so clean, and also the stuff that's filled in has been really good too. The second part to this is Sketch to Image, where you can actually, using the pen, or if you don't have an S Pen, use your finger, draw something on the screen. And I'm a terrible drawer. I tried to draw a dog and I got nowhere near it. And that's my fault, not the AI. But it will work to recognize what you've drawn and add in a life-like or actually realistic version of what you've asked for. And you can see it. It's given me a realistic looking goat next to my children standing out the front of SeaWorld. I didn't ask for a goat, but it definitely looked more like a goat in the drawing that I gave it. And then you've got Portrait Studio. Portrait Studio will take a photo of you or someone, one person only, and then you can generate it in the style of different things, like a 3D cartoon, a sketch, and you can go through and select each one and generate all of them should you wish to. And then once it's sort of generated those options, you can go through and download them as well to your gallery, and you've got a nice little portrait cartoon version of yourself based off a photo. Continuing the creative element, you have Drawing Assist. When I first demonstrated Drawing Assist last year with the Z Fold 6, it was quite basic. You literally drew something and it gave you options based on what you drew. Now you've got way more. Not only do you have the drawing element that's still there, where you can draw your picture, select the style that you want, generate it, and it now will generate one image, but you can, of course, generate again and then download it. You also have the option now to upload an inspiration image, where you can put that image in and again select a style, and using that image as inspiration, it will generate an image for you in the style that you've asked for. And then next to that, you have a text prompt, where you can actually combine the image that you've uploaded and the text prompt together to make another image again. So if you wanted to add a red car into the image that you've uploaded, it might be able to do that in the style that you've asked for. Or you can just ask it to create a text prompt and it won't use any other inspiration alongside it. This can be really cool if you're just trying to sort of make something fun, because not only can you then save it as a picture, but you've got the option to save it as a sticker into your stickers on your keyboard. Next is Audio Eraser. What a feature. Honestly, one of my favorites that I've ever used on Samsung phones, and I still use it regularly even after 3 months of having the S25 series. It's now going to be on the S24, the Fold 6 and the Flip 6 as well. So if you have any of those phones, you can use this feature. So I've got this example here of me talking and filming at SeaWorld, and there's lots of different background noises. So Audio Eraser can remove, I think it's up to 6 or isolate up to 6 different sounds, and then you can cut them out using the toggles inside the feature. Each sound can be adjusted, whether it be wanting to make it louder or wanting to sort of completely mute it altogether or just sort of dull it. You can go in and do that. And then you hit export, and it's like those sounds whenever there. Take a listen to the original, and then to after the sounds that I've removed have taken place. All right, dual recording. Dual recording is amazing. Getting both angles. Next in the list is Photo Ambient Wallpaper. This is a really small one. It started out as a lab feature last year, but it's now fully part of Galaxy AI. If it's raining outside, like it is today, but conveniently wasn't when I was filming, you turn this feature on and it shows you a little preview. But based on the weather, the wallpaper on the lock screen sort of showcases the weather overlaid over your wallpaper. It sort of gives you some tips, like it only really works well with like photos of landscapes, and then it'll sort of show you the weather on your lock screen as opposed to just, looking out the window. Something that I found really cool was my cousin actually shared this with me, that if you have the now bar on with this feature, it sort of will splash on the now bar. Thought that was cool. The next one is Now Brief. Now, for the time being, at the time of recording anyway, it's exclusive to the Galaxy S25 series. This may change, and it might even change between now and editing and uploading. So if it does, I'll add it into the video. But the way Now Brief works is it acts as like a sort of a hub and collects a bunch of data points to create like a briefing for you at multiple points throughout the day. Combines things like your health score. It combines things like Spotify playlists, YouTube shorts. It sort of recognizes weather and sort of gives you contextual understanding of what weather might be good for what activity. And there's a whole bunch of other things in there as a boast. I want to say bunch and host. There's a whole host of other things in there that you can toggle on in the settings. I must say, if you're part of the Galaxy ecosystem, this is fantastic because it takes things like smart things, it adds things like routines, and just monitors usage patterns and really contextualizes it to you. And then when you select it, either from the widget or from the now bar, it sort of gives you everything you need in one sort of overview. It's really good. The last one in the Galaxy AI menu is Health Assist. I've kind of gone through this a lot with Samsung Health, but effectively the way this works is it combines data that you've picked up from both your watch and your Galaxy Ring and takes it into an energy score. At the moment, it's like activity plus sleep, and it sort of combines a whole bunch of data from those two things to create the score for you in the morning when you wake up. Sort of like a balance or like a battery level for your day, what you're waking up with energy-wise. I'd love for this to include food in the future, but at the moment, it's just the sort of data points from sleep and activity. At the bottom of the Galaxy AI menu, there is process data only on device. So when you toggle this on, it sort of shows you what features work processed on device only. With S25 series, a lot is processed on here. Generative Edit, for example, audio eraser is automatically processed on device. It's really powerful tools that get processed on the phone. Whereas if you have this toggle off, everything works and then it combines maybe on device and cloud at the same time. There's some extra stuff in here that I really want to showcase. The first is instant slow-mo. So when you long press on a video in your gallery, it will automatically slow down and use AI to sort of fill in the frames. This could be really fun, especially if you've got like action shots, like my son at football, for example, and it'll show you the action shot of him scoring a goal, for example. There's an AI story creation in the gallery as well, where you can enter a prompt and it'll work to find the relevant pictures to create a story for you. I struggled a bit with this feature. There's only a couple of sort of prompts that I could give it that made it work, and that was really beach. Tried to give it some other ones and it just couldn't quite comprehend or create it. I tried for a while too, and it was a bit frustrating. And the contextual search in gallery as well. Similar sort of thing where it can actually search with more context. But again, it was a bit more of a struggle than what I was hoping it to be. So look, it's obviously been out for a few months now, but with Apple sort of delaying their intelligence, I really wanted to show the strengths of Samsung. So I just thought I'd show you all of it. This doesn't even account for the other things like sticker creation in Samsung Messages, where you can actually go in and create via an AI prompt your own sort of sticker. But I may as well show you that now that I've remembered it. This is how it works. You go in, enter the prompt, or if you've already got text in place in the Messages app, it'll actually create the prompt based off that and generate the sticker for you. Nice. The ones I'm not going to show today is the stuff with Google Gemini, because I think the Gemini stuff is, whilst it's Galaxy AI interlaced with some apps, I think it's separate at the same time. So I'll save that for another video. Should you want it, let me know down below. Hit subscribe for that and all the other stuff that I do as well. My name's Daniel. I realize I don't really tell you my name if you're new here. So if you're new here, my name's Daniel, and I'll see you guys in the next one. You.